Before you make that decision, God needs you to hear this first. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. Ecclesiastes 4:9. Your soulmate is not lost. They are not gone. They are not with someone else. They are waiting, held in divine stillness, for the moment you finally see what heaven has been trying to show you. And that moment is right now. Do not close this video. Do not skip ahead, because what you are about to hear in the next 12 minutes could be the difference between walking into the love God designed for you and walking away from it. I am here because heaven sent this message to reach you today. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today, because you have been standing at a crossroads and something in you has been hesitating. Something in you has been asking a question that no one around you can answer. And that question is this: is this person the one? Am I supposed to stay or let go? Am I missing something, or am I just afraid? Heaven hears that question, and the answer is already written in the depth of what I am about to share with you. So breathe, open your heart, and listen. God does not build soulmate connections the way the world builds relationships. The world builds on convenience, on timing that feels perfect on paper, on how someone looks in the first meeting, on what they can offer you in this season. But God builds on covenant, on soul architecture, on a bond that was woven before either of you took your first breath. Your soulmate was not assigned to you after you were born. They were chosen for you before the foundation of this earth was laid. That means the connection you have been feeling, the one that confuses you because it is too strong to explain, is not random. That pull is not a coincidence. That persistent thought, that name that keeps returning to your mind, that feeling that refuses to leave no matter how long you try to push it away, that is not weakness. That is a divine signal. Heaven is pulling both of you toward the same destination. But there is a reason you are standing at a decision point right now. And that reason is not what you think. Most people believe that when God sends your soulmate, everything will feel easy. They believe the right person will arrive with no confusion, no resistance, no complexity. They believe love sent from heaven will feel like a smooth, uninterrupted path. But that is not how divine love works. Divine love is a refining fire before it becomes a resting place. It challenges every false version of who you thought you were. It exposes every fear you buried under achievement and distraction. It asks you to choose depth over comfort before it offers you peace. And right now, it is asking you to make the most important spiritual choice of your life. Not just a decision about this person, a decision about who you are willing to become in order to receive what God has already prepared. I need to speak directly to what is happening inside you right now. There is a part of you that wants to walk away. Not because you do not care, but because caring this deeply terrifies you. You have been hurt before. You have opened your heart before, and someone took that open heart and left marks on it that you still feel when it is quiet. So when this connection came, when this person arrived, and something in you stirred in a way it has not stirred in a long time, the first thing that rose up was not joy. It was fear disguised as logic. It was protection dressed up as wisdom. You started looking for reasons why it would not work. You started comparing them to your wounds instead of comparing them to God's promise. You started measuring their imperfections with the same ruler you use on yourself when no one is watching. And heaven is saying to you now, stop. That measuring rod is not from God. That voice telling you to run is not the Holy Spirit. That urge to protect yourself by retreating is the wound speaking, not wisdom. Your soulmate is not perfect. I want you to hear that clearly. God does not send perfected people. He sends proposed people. People who are still being shaped, still being stretched, still carrying traces of their own unfinished story. And he sends them to you not because you need someone who has everything figured out. He sends them to you because what is still being worked on in them is precisely what will call the best parts of you out of hiding. Your soulmate will frustrate the part of you that wants control. They will unsettle the version of you that has built walls and called those walls boundaries. They will arrive speaking a love language you have not been fully fluent in yet. And in learning to receive how they love, you will discover dimensions of yourself you never knew existed. That process is uncomfortable, but it is divine. There are people watching this right now who almost left, who almost made a final decision based on one painful season, who almost walked away from their God-given person because the enemy made temporary turbulence look like a permanent verdict. Do not let that be your story. One difficult season is not evidence that God made a mistake. One argument does not erase a covenant. One moment of disconnection does not mean the thread between you has been cut. It means you are being stretched. It means you are growing. It means the love God is building between you requires two people who have been through the fire together and came out refined, not destroyed. Let me tell you what heaven sees when it looks at you and this person. It does not see the argument from last month. It does not see the walls that went up when trust was tested. It does not see the silence that stretched between you when neither one of you knew how to cross back. Heaven sees two souls who were designed for each other, standing 3 feet apart, both afraid to take the step that would collapse the distance. Heaven sees a covenant that has not been cancelled. Heaven sees a future that has not been revoked. Heaven sees love that is real, just buried under layers of human fear, human pride, and human pain that both of you are still learning to surrender. And heaven is asking you right now, in this moment, to choose the covenant over the fear. I need to tell you something about timing that most people misunderstand. God's timing is not always comfortable. It is not always clean. It does not always arrive in the season you planned for it. Sometimes your soulmate arrives when you are still unfinished, when you still have wounds that need tending, when you are still in the middle of becoming who you were created to be. And in those moments, the enemy will tell you that the timing is wrong. He will whisper that you should wait until you are more healed, until you are more stable, until you are more ready. But that whisper is a trap, because God does not wait for you to be complete before He sends your person. He often sends your person as part of the process of completing you. The right love does not require you to be fully whole before it arrives. The right love helps you become whole as you walk through it. There are some of you who have been telling yourself a very specific lie. You have been telling yourself that if this were truly meant to be, it would not be this hard. You have been using difficulty as evidence against the connection. But I need to correct that thinking right now because it is costing you something precious. The most sacred things God has ever built have never been built without resistance. The covenant between David and his purpose was tested with giants. The promise to Abraham required him to walk into the unknown. The redemption of all humanity required the cross before the resurrection. Difficulty is not evidence of absence. Difficulty is often the fingerprint of something divine. Because the enemy only attacks what is valuable. He does not bother with the counterfeit. He does not war against connections that are empty. He reserves his most strategic interference for the unions that carry the most kingdom purpose. And if your connection has been under attack, if it has been tested and pressed and pulled from every direction, take that as a sign. Not a sign to leave. A sign of what is inside it. Your soulmate sees things in you that you cannot yet see in yourself. They see the version of you that God designed before pain tried to edit it. They see your strength on the days you feel small. They see your light on the days you feel dim. And that is part of why this connection is so overwhelming. Being truly seen, not the curated version of you, but the real, unpolished, still becoming version, is one of the most destabilizing things a person can experience. Because you spent years crafting a version of yourself that was safe to present. A version that could absorb rejection without breaking. A version that did not need too much. And then this person arrived, and they looked right past that version. They saw the real one. And the real one is terrified. Not of them. Of being known and then left. Of being chosen and then abandoned. Of allowing yourself to believe in this and then watching it dissolve. That terror is not a reason to leave. That terror is the last wall that needs to fall before you can truly receive what God has prepared. Heaven is speaking a very specific word right now to someone watching. You have been rehearsing the conversation in your head. The one where you end it. Where you tell yourself and them that it is too complicated. That you need space. That you are not sure. But before you have that conversation, heaven is asking you one question. Not about them. About you. Are you making this decision from a place of clarity? Or are you making it from exhaustion? Are you choosing release because God is releasing you? Or are you choosing it because the weight of staying open feels heavier right now than the weight of walking away? Because those are two very different decisions. And only one of them leads to peace. Real peace, the peace that comes from God, does not feel like relief after running. It feels like resting after arriving. If you walk away from this person and immediately feel a profound, settled, God-breathed peace, the kind that surpasses understanding, then you have your answer. But if you walk away and the ache follows you, if you leave and the silence feels heavier, not lighter, if you put distance between you and something in you keeps turning back toward them like a compass finding north, that is not you being weak. That is your spirit recognizing its counterpart. That is God-placed knowing that you are moving in the wrong direction. Pay attention to what happens inside you when you imagine your life without them. Not the plain, surface-level relief. The deep place. The honest place. What does that place say? I want to talk about what divine union actually looks like, because too many people are walking away from their soulmate while searching for something that does not exist. They are looking for love with no friction. For connection with no complexity. For a partner who meets every need without ever creating a challenge. But that is not love. That is a mirror. And God did not design your soulmate to be your mirror. He designed them to be your counterpart. Counterparts are not identical. They are complementary. They carry what you are missing. They see what you cannot see about yourself. They challenge the parts of you that have become comfortable in limitations. A counterpart will sometimes feel like opposition before they feel like harmony. That is not a sign of incompatibility. That is the process of two different, but divinely matched souls learning to move in rhythm with each other. There are 3 signs I want to give you now. 3 signs that the person you are considering leaving is not someone to leave. The first sign is this. They make you want to be better, not because they demand it, but because being around them awakens a version of you that you actually want to be. Not out of pressure, not out of performance, but out of genuine desire to rise. When a person's presence calls your best self forward without manipulation or control, that is not chemistry. That is covenant activation. The second sign is this. The connection survives seasons it should not have survived. Most surface-level connections dissolve under pressure. They cannot withstand misunderstanding, distance, or difficulty. But there are some connections that keep finding their way back to the surface, no matter how deep they are pushed. No matter how long the silence stretches. No matter how much either person tries to convince themselves it is over. If your connection has that quality, if it keeps surviving what should have ended it, that resilience is not stubbornness. That is the hand of God refusing to let what he has joined become undone. The third sign is this. You cannot imagine giving this version of yourself to someone else. Not because of jealousy or possession, but because something in you knows that the level of openness, the depth of vulnerability, the degree of real self you have shown in this connection, you were not able to give that to the ones who came before. And you know it would not land the same way with someone who comes after. The reason it was different with them is because they were designed to receive what you were carrying. That design is not accidental. That is God's architecture. And in it, I am going to tell you what God is preparing behind the scenes of this connection right now. I am going to show you what happens when two divinely matched souls stop running from each other. I am going to give you the word that heaven has been holding for you about what comes next, what to pray, and how to walk into the love that was designed for you before you were born. Do not go anywhere. You are still here. And that means something. Because the soul that needed to hear this would not be able to walk away. Something kept you watching. Something in your chest recognized the voice of heaven underneath these words. And that recognition is its own kind of answer. So let me continue what I started. Let me take you deeper into what God is doing in this season of your life around this specific connection. There is a moment in every divine union where both people have to choose. Not choose each other, although that matters, but choose something harder. They have to choose love over fear. They have to choose the future over the wound. They have to choose to believe that what God says about this connection is more true than what their pain is telling them. That is the moment you are standing in right now. And I want you to understand that this moment is not a crisis. It is an invitation. It is heaven saying, you have done the running. You have done the questioning. You have done the analyzing and the second guessing and the protecting. Now it is time to do the trusting. I want to talk about what the enemy does to divine connections. Because if you do not recognize his strategy, you will mistake his interference for God's redirection. The enemy does not attack love by making it ugly. He attacks it by making it complicated. He does not come in and make you hate this person. He makes you tired of the effort. He does not make them unlovable. He makes love feel unworthy of the cost. He whispers things like, you deserve easier. A real connection would not require this much. If they were right for you, you would not be questioning it. Love is not supposed to be this difficult. And those whispers sound like wisdom. They sound like self-care. They sound like you are finally putting yourself first. But they are not wise. They are sabotages dressed in the language of healing. The enemy knows what this union carries. He knows the purpose that would be released if the two of you stopped running and started building. He knows the children who would be raised differently. He knows the prayers that would be prayed with new authority. He knows the testimony that would come out of your story. And he is terrified of all of it. So he works very hard to make you terminate what God is trying to mature. Do not let him win. There are people watching this right now who have already walked away. You are not in the process of deciding. You are in the aftermath. You made the choice to create distance. And now you are sitting in a silence that does not feel like freedom. You are living in a space that does not feel like relief. You are waking up in the morning and the first thought is still about them. You are moving through your days and things keep reminding you of what you walked away from. Heaven is speaking to you too. It is not too late. The cord between two people who were designed for each other is not cut by separation. It is not served by silence. It is not dissolved by time. If God connected you, only God can disconnect you. And if there is still this much alive in you when you think of them, if it still moves something real in your chest, then the disconnection has not happened. The distance is physical. The covenant is still intact. And heaven is giving you permission to reach back. What does it look like to step into divine union instead of away from it? It looks like having the honest conversation you have been avoiding. Not the rehearsed one. The real one. The one where you stop performing certainty and start telling the truth. Where you say, I am afraid. I am not sure how to do this without getting hurt again. I do not know how to stay open when everything in me wants to close. But I know that what I feel when I am with you is something I do not want to spend the rest of my life wondering about. That conversation is vulnerable. That conversation is terrifying. That conversation is also the door. And on the other side of it is the love that God has been holding in trust for both of you. I need to speak now to those of you who have been waiting a very long time. You have been patient. You have been praying. You have been doing the inner work. You have been healing, growing, becoming, and yet the love you believed was coming has not fully arrived in the form you imagined. And now you are wondering if you imagined it. You are wondering if God forgot. You are wondering if the promise was real, or if you have been holding on to something that was never truly spoken. I am here to tell you, He did not forget. The promise was real. And the love you have been preparing for is closer than the discouragement tells you. But there is something heaven needs you to understand about this waiting season. It was never empty. Every day of that waiting was active. God was not withholding your person because you were not worthy. He was preparing your person to be ready to receive you. He was working with them the way He was working with you. Removing what needed to be removed. Building what needed to be built. Healing what needed to be healed. And the two of you needed to arrive at each other at the same time, not the same moment in your journeys, but the same readiness in your spirits. That readiness is being reached right now. This is the season where the preparation meets the promise. Let me tell you what a God-designed love does to your life. It does not just make you happy. It makes you whole. It does not just fill the empty space. It calls the hiding parts of you out into the open. It does not just give you a companion. It gives you a witness, someone who sees your becoming in real time and refuses to let you shrink back into who you were. A soulmate from God does not complete you in the way the world describes. You are not incomplete without them. You are a whole person, fully made, fully loved by God. But your soulmate activates dimensions of your wholeness that cannot be awakened alone. The way a song needs both the melody and the harmony to become what it was written to be. You are whole. They are whole. But together, you create something neither of you could produce independently. That is what is waiting for you. Not just a relationship. A resonance. A frequency of life that only the two of you together can create. There are things God is doing right now behind the scenes of this connection that you cannot see yet. He is working on their heart. He is softening what was hardened. He is removing fear from places it lodged years ago. He is preparing them to show up for you in ways they could not show up before. He is also working on yours. He is expanding your capacity to receive love without immediately bracing for its end. He is healing the places in you that learned to flinch before the blow even arrived. He is rebuilding your ability to stay present when love gets real instead of retreating to the place inside yourself where nothing can touch you. Both of you are being worked on simultaneously. And the day you both arrive at the threshold at the same time, prepared, softened, opened, what unfolds will feel like a miracle. Because it will be one. I want to give you a prayer. Not a performance prayer. A real one. The kind that comes from the place in you that has been honest this whole time. Pray this. God, I am afraid of getting this wrong. I am afraid of choosing and then losing. I am afraid of staying and being hurt. I am afraid of leaving and realizing too late that I walked away from the very thing you prepared for me. I do not trust my own judgment right now, but I trust yours. So I am asking you to do what only you can do. Show me what is real. Clear the fear so I can see the truth. Quiet the noise so I can hear your voice. And give me the courage to follow what you show me, even if it requires me to be more vulnerable than I have ever been, more patient than I feel capable of, or more brave than I believe I am right now. I choose your way over my fear. I choose your timing over my anxiety. I choose your design over my doubt. Amen. Now I want to speak to those of you who need confirmation. Who has been feeling in your spirit that this person is the one, but you have been looking for a sign that it is real and not your own longing dressed up as divine direction. Here is what I want to say. The fact that you are asking for confirmation instead of just acting on impulse is itself a spiritual indicator. People who are chasing desire do not pause to question. People who are following God pause, listen, and seek. The care with which you are handling this decision is itself evidence of spiritual maturity. And now I am going to give you the confirmation you have been seeking. Not because I am God, but because I am carrying a word from heaven to someone specific right now. And if this lands in your chest when you hear it, it is because it was sent to you. The word is this: what you feel is real. The connection is not in your imagination. The love you sense between you was placed there by a purpose that is bigger than both of you. You are not wrong to believe in it. You are not foolish to stay. You are not naive for choosing to see it through. You are being brave in the most sacred way a person can be brave, by trusting God with the most tender part of who you are. And heaven honors that bravery. I want to speak to the practical now, because spiritual truth has to land in real life, or it stays beautiful but weightless. If you are in a connection that has grown cold, do not wait for them to warm it first. Be the one who reaches, not from desperation, from intention. Reach with one genuine moment of honesty. One conversation that drops the dufansa and speaks from the real place. One act that says, I value what is between us more than I value my pride. If you are in a connection that has distance between you, do not let silence become a wall. Silence that is left unaddressed becomes a language of its own. And it speaks things neither of you intended. Break it, not with everything at once. With one true word. One honest sentence. One moment of presence that says, I am still here. I have not stopped caring. I want to find our way back to each other. That one moment can be the turning point that changes everything. I want to address something that heaven has placed on my heart for this message. There are people who have been told by others, by family, by friends, by voices they trusted, that this person is wrong for them. And those voices have been loud. And because you love and respect the people speaking to them, you have been letting their judgment become your confusion. I am not telling you to ignore wisdom from people who love you. I am telling you to know the difference between wisdom and projection. People who love you can only see this connection through the lens of their own experiences, their own fears, their own losses, their own definitions of what love is supposed to look like. But they are not you, and they are not God. God's word about your life does not require consensus from the people around you. It requires your surrender to His leading. And sometimes the most divine decisions a person makes are the ones that the people around them do not understand. Not because you are rebellious, but because God did not give them your assignment. He gave it to you. What does it look like on the other side of this decision? What does life look like when you say yes to what God has prepared instead of walking away from it? Let me paint it for you. You wake up next to someone who knows the parts of you that you used to hide. And they are not frightened by those parts. They are not disappointed. They are still there, still choosing. You move through your days with a settled quality in your spirit that you did not have before. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer carrying the weight of aloneness that you had become so accustomed to you forgot it was a burden. You have conversations that go places conversations have not gone before. You laugh with someone who understands the specific things you find funny. You pray together. You dream together. You build something, not just a life, but a legacy that neither of you could have built separately. And there are moments, quiet and holy, where you look at this person and you feel it. The specific grace of God. The specific mercy of a God who kept His promise even when you doubted. even when you almost walked away, even when you stood at the crossroads and nearly chose the wrong direction. He kept the promise. He held the covenant. He brought you both to this moment. And in that moment, you will be grateful you stayed. You will be grateful you listened. You will be grateful that on the day you almost made a final decision, something in you held on long enough to hear what heaven had to say. That something was not a coincidence. That something was grace. That something was God sending this message to reach you before you made a choice that closed a door He intended to stay open. You are not here by accident. This video found you because heaven is still writing your story. And the chapter you are afraid to begin, the chapter with this person, this love, this covenant, it is the one the whole book has been building toward. Do not tear it out before you read it. I want to end with something I need you to carry out of this message and into your day. Carry this. You are worthy of the love God designed for you. Not the love that costs you your peace. Not the love that asks you to shrink. Not the love that keeps you in perpetual uncertainty and never moves towards something real. But the love that was built for you. The love that sees you. The love that stays. The love that grows in the direction of God rather than away from it. That love exists. It is not a fantasy. It is a promise. And it has your name on it. If this message reached something real in you today, I want you to do something. Before you close this video, I want you to take 1 second and type the number 444 in the comments below. 444 is the angel number of divine protection and reassurance. It is heaven's way of saying, you are on the right paths. Do not give up. Your prayers have been heard. Type it, because sometimes the act of declaring faith, even in small ways, shifts something in the spirit. And your declaration today might be the thing that opens the door to everything you have been waiting for. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Because the messages that come through here are not random. They are sent for people who need them at the exact moment they appear. And if this found you today, there is a reason you are part of this community. Stay, keep watching, because heaven has more to say to you. There is one more thing I want to leave in your hands before this message closes. A word specifically for those of you who have been single for a long time, who have been carrying the weight of that singleness as though it is evidence of something broken in you. I need you to hear this clearly. Your singleness is not punishment. It is not evidence of your unworthiness. It is not God withholding love because you have not yet earned it. It is preparation. The depth of love that God has designed for you required a version of you that could hold it. And the single seasons, the ones that felt empty, the ones that felt like everyone else was arriving somewhere while you stood still, those seasons were the making of a person strong enough, open enough, whole enough to receive what God was holding. You were not forgotten in the waiting. You were being made ready. And ready is exactly what you are now. To the one who almost walked away from their person today. Stay. To the one who has been walking away for months. It is not too late to turn back. To the one who is still waiting. What is coming is worth every day of what you walked through to get here. To every soul who needed a sign today that their love story is still being written. This is the sign. Heaven sent it to you wrapped in these words. And the God who counted the hairs on your head before you were born has not stopped counting. He has not stopped preparing. He has not stopped moving in the direction of your heart's truest longing. Trust Him. Choose love. Stay open. And watch what He does next. This is your angel message from heaven. And you were meant to hear it today.